Hello. I think it's very, very fitting indeed that for our opening telecast of the 1981 Premiership competition, that the 1980 Premiers Canterbury should be on view. So with that in view, I brought our Channel 7 Big League task force to Belmore Oval to watch them go round against their arch rivals St George, and a very, very good crowd has turned up to watch the match. Specialist 5'8" Gary Hughes is still unavailable. He's recovering from an appendectomy. He's replaced by the versatile Stephen Folkes, one of the success stories of 1980. The last occasion these two teams met at Belmore was on the 18th of May 1980, with the Dragons proving too good on the day with a 1912 victory. Despite the loss, Canterbury still managed to pull out a classy piece of rugby league, with Folkes eventually scoring, but not before 8 players had handled. Steve Mortimer, as you'll see, was involved 3 times. Canterbury in 1981 faced the daunting task of trying to retain their crown. Not an easy thing to do. 1980 come on through the coloured paper there and all the dancing girls. That's the full side. Let's look at it. Greg Brentnell, Chris Anderson, Peter Mortimer, Chris Mortimer, Steve Gearin, Steve Folkes, Steve Mortimer, Mark Hughes, Jeff Robertson, Graham Hughes, Dave Moffat, George Paponis and John Coveney. The coach, of course, was Ted Glossop. Well, little Steve Mortimer must realise that this is a year of decision for him. He's been a Rodolphus challenger now for 3 years. Today he's up against another half aspiring to the national team job. A big game will not only obviously help his team, it'll help to push Morris into the back of the selectors' thoughts. St George coming out, led by their tough prop forward, Craig Young, and this is the full side. Brian Johnson, Mitchell Sorodimi, Graham Quinn, Brian Johnston, Philip Graham, Tony Trudgett, Steve Morris, Graham Buckley, Rod Reddy, Graham Wynn, Craig Young, John Dowling and Robert Stone. The coach was Harry Bath. Well, more than any other player, Harry Bath needs this giant second rower, Rod Reddy, to become more involved more often. He oozes talent, but it's not always allowed full expression. In my view, he must readjust his work role and become a 100% goer. The referee, Mr. Jack Danzy. Canterbury now about to kick off, and since Canterbury entered this first grade competition in 1935, there are the statistics. 109 matches between the two clubs. St George have had a very big success story, 67 to 39 with 3 drawn, and at Belmore, the 36 games, St George have won 24, Canterbury have only won 12. St George in possession now. Craig Young, Steve Morris, Rocket Reddy. And good solid defence there early. The 1980 reserve grade premiers, Canterbury Bankstown went down today, 17 to 11 to this St George side. Penalty against Canterbury for failing to let the tackle player play the ball correctly. Under 23 scores was an interesting match, 16 all, a draw. Now Barry Ross on the sideline. There's a fairly fresh breeze blowing down there. Who's it favour?
I think it's favouring St George slightly. It's more a cross-field breeze than anything, but it is favouring St George.
There's a marked lack of size in the Canterbury forwards when you look at them by comparison to the St George pack, but of course it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Canterbury now with a penalty, and Paponis signifying that he wants it put into touch with Brentnell to take the kick. Brentnell holds the ball for the punt like the VFL player that he used to be. Just outside St George's quarter now, Paponis. Left it behind, but managed to knock it back to Mark Hughes. Next a bit of putting down. Craig Young finally. Folkes, Coveney, into St George's quarter. Graham Hughes. Robinson on the burst. Black mane waving around on the air. Ready, a bit of a serve with a head there. Bomb with pressure. Johnson can't get to that. Oh, beautifully taken by Graham, and he was absolutely belted to the ground, but tough as he is, he got straight to his feet. That was a fine catch. That was real pressure. Graham went. About 18 metres out now from St St. George's line. Craig Young, close to the ruck. That high knee action, he's going to be penalised for it. I was just about to comment, and he lifted his knee as he ran into the opposition there. Let's see what Dancy's signal is. You mustn't lift your knee when you run. See it again. It's an interesting one. Now watch it. There it was. It's not an attempt to knee the guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that. It's an attempt to knock him out of the way. He's about 20 metres in from the sideline, apparently kicking into the breeze. Slightly across and into. And he squirted that one away to the right. Came back a bit with the breeze, but not enough. Score as it was. 0-0. Barry Ross, keep your eye on Tony Trudgett with that knee of his. Quetnell. About 10 metres from halfway midfield now, little Steve Mortimer. One of those magic passes of his out to one of the brothers. There's so many brothers in this team, it's a mite confusing. And Dave Moffat, number 11, on the halfway line virtually. Steve Mortimer, a long floating pass. Oh, blimey, it's gone to ground, but it's taken well there. And finally up comes Peter Mortimer with it. Keeps it alive to Mark Hughes. There's little Mortimer running. He's found a gap to run into. Gives it to Anderson, who was there. Play about 5 metres into St. George's half. Last tackle. Folks, little chip through. It's gone off the legs of a St. George player. And they come up with possession through Robert Stone. Win. Brian Johnston. With a T. There's a Brian Johnson at fullback. Brian Johnston with a T at centre, number 4. Trudgett. Back to Reddy. Just melted to the ground at the halfway line. Go to the blind side, St. George. Craig Young. Pass goes astray. Canterbury in possession again. Steve Mortimer like a traffic cop in the back there, waving them to get deep. And there's a long floating pass out to Folks. Reynolds chimed in. Up then to number 4, Chris Mortimer, and he takes the tackle. Gearin, Steve Mortimer, Mark Hughes, Jeff Robinson. Crowd love this fellow. Every time he gets the ball, you'll hear them yell. Graham Hughes gives it back to them, and that's a knock-off. No advantage to St. George off the Canterbury error. George Petronas, never a huge ball winner, but a good all-round player. That's his pre-season form, and he's 84, we can see. Just around 51% all the time, but that's mostly what coaches look for. Brian Johnston came underneath a swinging high tackle, and about halfway. Stone. Those coaches realising the critical importance of win first up. Steve Morris kicked and chases. He's got the place too. Interfered with slightly. The referee may go on with this. No, he says play on. They were running shoulder to shoulder. And that's what Dancy signifies with his signal. Nothing in the rules against that. It's just how a referee sees it. Two players without the ball chasing can run shoulder to shoulder with each other. Morris had a bit of bad luck with that little rubber kick. It hit the legs of a player. If it had gone through, he probably would have run the race with the ball. Some solid defence out there too. No big pardons. Little love lost between these two sides. Graham Hughes jumps in there. Beautiful pass. Back to Mortimer. Plenty of pace. Back inside beautifully to Gearin. A lovely cover defence there. Brian Johnson, Graham Buckley responsible for that. A good tackle. Perfect lock forward tackle. Steve Mortimer, Moffat out among the backs. What he's doing out there, we'll never know. And the crowd roundly applauding that passage of play. Some really good, fast ball movement. A top crowd here. This telecast brought to you by Mazda and your local Mazda dealer. Mark Hughes. Beautifully unloaded to Mortimer, and he's
puts it down. Chris puts it down. Graham went up the blind side. Nicely back inside to Graham. Buckley. Morris, trudge it. There's a gap out there if they can move it wide. John Stein was able to shoulder one of the defenders out of the way. Back inside to Johnson, the fullback. He's got a bit of pace, but Mortimer's there with a copybook diving tackle. Brilliant stuff. Just chopped him down. See that tackle again. He's not short of a bit of speed, this, but look at Steve Mortimer. Around about knee-high, and down he went. Beautiful stuff. St. George come up with another scrum win. Morris through the gap. Looks for support. He's got Brian Johnson there, who can't get his hands free. No support at the critical second. St. George really doing it well at the moment. Steve Morris. It's an interesting fact about Steve Morris. Most of his tries are scored from either a standing still position or from almost a standing still position. Rarely is he moving fast when he takes the ball. Just stands the opposition up with sheer post. Dowling, win. The kick is ricocheted. Stone has it. 6 to go. Bit of fisticuffs here. Stone and Robinson as Buckley comes away with a good backing up run on the inside. 10 metres out. Canterbury on the rack. Graham Hughes well offside out among the backs there. Win. Dowling will go in. Good interchange of passing, and Dowling the hooker was Johnny on the spot. Took Brentford the fullback with him. And Robert Stone is still squaring off to Robinson there. They had another altercation. See the try again. Now there's Dowling in dummy half to Craig Young. Back inside to Wynn. And Dowling backing up nicely. That was a good bit of forward play. Very clever stuff. And see it from head on. Dowling. Craig Young turned it back in. Wynn on the move. Strong and hard. Now Dowling backing up well. Remember, he was at dummy half. He takes Brittle with him. And George Paponis. And that's a good try. Opening blood to St. George. Sea of humanity in the background there. Crowd well and truly standing up along the back too. This kick from Graham. Scoring or converting the try, scored by Dowling. He's a metre short of the quarter line. He's 12 metres in from the sideline, kicking directly with the breeze, Barry Ross.
I would think so with this kick.
A lot of time over his kick. It looks beautiful. It's right over the black dot. That was a magnificently struck ball. St. George 5, Canterbury 0. Off to restart. Brentnell drives it low, trying to force an error. Graham has it. He's got very close to getting through that tackle. Dowling. Buckley. Dowling again. He goes very frequently into that dummy half position. You'll see him trot from ruck to ruck. There he is, signalling he's going to pass it on the blind side. Of course, that was only a ploy. Quinn to Johnson to Dowling. It's gone astray. Mark Hughes has it. Could have been dangerous for Canterbury had that last pass been taken. Graham Hughes. Moffat. Good tackle from Robert Stone. Graham Hughes. George on the opening 15 minutes evidence have come up with a pretty good performance. Doing a lot of the attacking. Steve Mortimer. Robinson. Passed astray, but Brentnell has it. Loses it. George will come up with it again. It'll be a pretty heavy error count by the time we start to give it to you. Craig Young. Graham Wynn. Up to halfway. Morris cuts out a man. Oh, that was a terrible pass. Way up in the air and a knock on. Dave Moffat was the injured player there, Barry.
Yes, that's right. Looked like a knock on the ribs.
Scrum statistics, St. George 2, Canterbury 1. The penalties 3-1 in Canterbury's favour. There's the error situation. St. George 5, Canterbury 4. That's the number of times each side has given the ball back to the opposition. Penalty, feed across against St. George Hooker. We're continuing with our weekly TV awards to the best footballer of our weekly telecast match. The selected player is going to be called the King G Footballer of the Week, and we welcome King G to our sponsors list. He'll receive 400 and appear in Sports World the following week to receive his cheque. At year's end, all those weekly awards will be judged by the Controversy Corner panel. The overall winner will be named the Mazda Footballer of the Year and receive a magnificent Mazda RX-7 sports car as his prize, valued at $16,770. Similarly, the player judged to have been responsible for the King G try of that match receives 150. And at year's end, all those tries will be judged, and we've had some magnificent ones. The kick through, ball knocked down, St. George in possession, and right on their line. As I was saying, all those weekly tries will be judged by the Controversy Corner panel, and the player judged to have been most responsible for the Mazda try of the year will receive a mighty Mazda 626, valued at $9,090. 5 points to 0. St. George lead. A beautiful try. Well set up forward play. Well, it's done. And 1 goal. Repeating the earlier game scores in reserve grades. St. George 17, Canterbury 11. Under 23s played a 16 all draw. Exciting game. On the ready. Ready's got himself right into the clear. Got Sorodini on the outside. He looks as though he's well marked. The pass comes into Wynn. Put the glasses down. They'll not catch the big fella. And he ran with a slightly hobbled gait over that last 20 metres, but nonetheless it's been a very fine try by St. George, and Reddy is really showing a lot more enterprise today and getting very, very involved. That's right, about 15 stone 10 there, running, jogging back or walking back. See that try again. Right back from the quarter. Dowling to Morris. A little acceleration of his. Reddy coming onto the pass beautifully. Evades the tackle of Steve Mortimer. Now he had 2 ways to go, but Michael Sorodini was marked by Anderson on the outside, and he did exactly the right thing to give it a grain. Well, now look at the way he goes there, like a hobbled trotter. Now from head on, you see the gap loom now. Now Steve Mortimer just pushed away by the big Reddy, carrying the ball in one hand and well passed back inside. Good backing up. From directly in front. 10 metres out. This will go out of the ground. Left foot strike right out into the trees, out the back. So St. George side doing it very cool at the moment. St. George 10, Canterbury 0. Reynolds. Johnson misjudges that, but Graham's there to pick up the dregs. Competent player, this fella. Got a nice turn of speed. Buckley. Here's small man as forwards go, Buckley, but he's got a high work rate. Craig Young, a leader by example, never shirks the tough stuff. Stone, Reddy, giving him heaps there at the moment. Craig Young, lovely pass out to Wynn. Big St. George forwards creating havoc at the moment. Morris, Trudgett. Oh, how Graham Quinn really made a bad fist of catching that one. Canterbury looking to get some points on the board in the near future. Now there's a penalty, they might get 2 out of this. Offside to Graham Wynn and Robert Stone. Kick for Gearan. He's only had 1 attempt and missed comprehensively. 2 points, and the deficit diminishes slightly. St. George 10, Canterbury. Barry Ross has allowed cheer going up periodically that the spectators at here know what's going on, but frequently viewers at home might be confused. There's a personality running on the field periodically and a job you might like to tell them about.
Yes, that's John Raper, the great John Raper in the St. George trainer's position. He runs on with messages from Harry Bath and attends to players and so on, and that's what the cheering's all about.
And a little bit of booing.
A little bit of booing, but as John says, that doesn't mean too much. After all, he is St. George's answer to Robert Redford.
Fair enough. Johnny Raper, we'll point him out when he goes on the field again in red tracksuit, a red top. Suggestions that he'll be standing for coach of the St. George side. Jeff Robinson. That's, of course, when Harry Bath deems it fit to retire. Stone, I thought, had a little bit of liberal use of the elbow in a tackle there. Coveney. Stone getting through a lot of work. Opponents. Steve Mortimer. Stokes. Bretnell. Caught but not held. Now he's held. And that's 10 metres outside the quarter. Now that was the 6. There's Jay Raper, affectionately known as the Chook to his thousands of fans. Mortimer. Sprinting away nicely, showing a nice clean pair of heels. Peter Mortimer. Now a pass for Gearin. Gearin knocks on. Might have been knocked out of his hand just as he took it. Let's see that last little bit again, the last 2 or 3 metres of that. Now there was the pass coming. Now just as Gearin takes it, watch the hand on the left. Yes, I think we're pretty safe in saying that Phil Graham saved the try there by knocking the ball just before it got into Gearin's hands. Peter Mortimer surprised me with his pace on that occasion. Jack Jansen being firm with them and telling them where to go and what to do. It's a penalty to Canterbury, however. Feet across against Dowling again. By my count, that's 4. 4 times for feet across. Now, Craig Young going to be spoken to, and Dowling. When does persistent infringements come in? Well, there comes a time when a referee has to ensure that the game proceeds if one player is persistently infringing. I suggest Dowling's reached that stage. Coveney. Kick the ball backwards, of course, to get a bit of depth for their attack. Robinson. A little short of an effort, Robinson. Bonus. Steve Mortimer. Mark Hughes, well tackled. Robert Stone, the man around the legs. Pass back inside to Moffat. Canterbury looking curiously flat. They're unable to keep the ball alive the way they have been. Graham Hughes setting him alight. But then again, the pass has gone astray. There'll be no try to that. No use cheering for Captain or Dr. George. Not after a knock on. It went from Dave Moffat forward, and then Papanis fell on it. About 8 minutes to go to half-time. Steve Morris got that in. Steve Mortimer was the tackler. Brian Johnston. Now to Reddy. Robinson there to literally hammer him into the ground, and I mean hammer. Craig Young, a bit loose with his legs there, Robinson, isn't he? He's going to get himself sorted right out here in a minute. Taken well on the chest by Bretnell. Well, that pass was forward. Gearin tackled but not put into touch, evaded the touchline beautifully. The pass from Bretnell to Gearin was half a metre forward. Mark Hughes. And nobody running. Canterbury just not running. Steve Mortimer. Folks, now they're going forward. Bretnell, the run around, and Folks has dropped it. St. George come up with it. Extraordinary performance by Canterbury. Craig Young, Graham Wynn. 3 to pull him down. 10 points to 2. St. George lead. 2 tries and 2 goals. Robert Stone. A metre from halfway. In a most uncharacteristically bad performance by Canterbury in this opening 30 minutes. Touch it. I didn't see the pass go, but it was beautifully delivered. On to Brian Johnson. He's immaculately tackled by Steve Mortimer. There'll be a penalty. Should he not let him go? Well, the referee's allowed play to proceed. I thought Steve Mortimer should have been penalised for holding on. The penalty's gone now. That was rather ridiculous, really. Now they'll take a kick at goal. We'll have a look at that again. Steve Mortimer, I suggest, hang on for 15 seconds. See it again. Now watch it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, the penalty had to come. I think Mr. Danzy was really quite liberal.
It's probably he's waiting to see if St. George could gain an advantage. If he could have got to his feet and play the ball, play goes on.
Craig Young, right through. Oh, tries gone begging. The pass went astray. Steve Mortimer has it. It's really, I don't know how they failed to score that. Play about 5 metres out now. Anderson running diagonally. Gets through the first line. Up to the 10-metre line. Stone the tackler. Now Robinson. Stone and Robinson really having a chop at each other today. Mark Hughes. Buckley finally puts him down. Graham Hughes. The handling is atrocious by Canterbury. Now Gearon's come midfield to see if he can smarten things up a bit there. And that's the 6th. Well, 10 points to 2, the scoreline. Some splendid football by St. George and a whole heap of errors by Canterbury. A bit of a punch-up going on with Coveney standing there like the original Marquess of Queensbury, a left and a right hand. And there he goes again with a little jab, but Robert Stone saying a few words, trying to goad him. Reddy's got hold of Stone by the jersey. See the start of that little altercation. Stone still won't shut up. He's still backing him. Go on, let's see it again. Now, this was the scrum that was. Now, this is what happened. Now, there's Robert Stone getting one from Coveney. And they still go at it. We're back to normal action now. Bretnell's burst into the clear from a scrum win by Canterbury, back 10 metres from their line. Players spread all over the field at the moment. Some of the St. George players still offside. Mark Hughes running, but there were openings out wide if they'd moved the ball wide. Now the St. George's defence is static again. Robinson runs straight into heavy defence there. Into the quarter line. Canterbury not been up that end of the field all that much. Coveney to his feet. A terrible pass from dummy half. Graham Hughes makes a good side-stepping little run on the last tackle. Now, will it be the kick from Steve Mortimer? It's a switch of play to Bretnell. Bretnell's through. Can't get his arms free. Touch again. Graham Wynn's going to be spoken to for an incident there. The error situation. Canterbury 10, St. George 9. The number of times each side's given the ball back to the opposition. Let's see, it's Robert Stone now being called out. And Coveney. The altercation previously, I would suggest. We've had a little set to Stone and Robinson on several occasions. Coveney is now taken over from Robinson. About 3 minutes to half-time. The scrum win, and it didn't appear to go right in the scrum, but let's see what the tally is. The scrums are 5-all at this stage with St. George in possession. The penalties have gone to Canterbury by 7-3. Morris in possession. Ready. And Robinson really, he's going to be a very lucky boy to stay on the field. He might go off either way, he might go off carried off, or he might get sent off the way he's going. He really is doing some crazy things at the moment. I think Dazzy's just about had enough. I'm not suggesting it's all one-way traffic, don't get me wrong, but Robinson is not the most subtle lad in the world, Barry Ross.
No, he should be more careful of what he's doing today, but maybe Jeff thinks he's got to square up something, and good luck that happens.
He should be a little bit more discreet about what he's doing. He's telegraphing his punches, if I put it so widely. Craig Young, that pass from Dowling looked to be marginal, as if Craig Young had just overrun it. Steve Morris. Trudgett, well, he should have been applauded for handling that, but it was a frightful pass, and it's taken well by a Canterbury player. Folks, Steve Mortimer to Graham Hughes, caught by one leg. About a minute to half-time, or less than that, perhaps. The hitter could go any moment, according to our watch, and there it is in the background. And at the half-time break, St. George have come up with a very handsome lead of 10 points to 2. And the try scorers have been, for the St. George side, Graham Wynn and John Dowling. And Philip Graham has kicked 2 goals from 2 attempts. For the Canterbury Bankstown side, just the 1 penalty goal. They had the opportunity for another and failed to take it. So their 2 points came with a goal to Steve Gear and 1 from 2 attempts. We're going to be back in just a few moments' time with the continuation of this action. We'll take this break and then we're returning. In both sides for this second half as St. George get them away. Mark Hughes in receipt of the ball there from the kick-off to Anderson. And just going through those changes now, Graham Hughes is off for Canterbury Bankstown. I thought I saw him injure himself in a tackle about 5 minutes from half-time. And he's replaced by the reserve grade captain, I think, Peter Casillas, playing in number 17, quite an experienced player. And in the St. George side, there's the 1 change. Reddy is off. Barry will give us a report on that injury in a moment. And he's replaced by John Jansen, playing in number 18. So, Barry Ross, you've been in both dressing rooms.
Defence. I said Ted Glossop was very concerned with the Canterbury defence. He said that the boys have got to concentrate on putting the man straight down. There's to be no whacking, put them on the ground. He said that his side's making St. George look good in this form of tackling. In attack, they've not to bunch up, particularly out wide. Graham Hughes is off weeks because he's got a cut below the eye, I believe, and Rocket Reddy has got an elbow injury. Harry Barth in the St. George dressing room, he was quite happy with his side. They're leading 10-2, but they are dropping a bit of the ball, and he brought that up.
Right, Steve Morris, Stone, Wynn. Jeff Robinson didn't start proceedings well for Canterbury with a silly pass that gave the ball back to St. George. Now Craig Young, run-around move. Brian Johnston. Casillas the tackler, about 15 metres out now from Canterbury's line. Buckley, Jansen loses the ball on the ground, but well picked up there by Trudgett on the half volley. Last tackle coming up is hardly a Canterbury player on the open side. Morris goes to a little kick through. He's been impeded. The referee says play on with Canterbury in possession. Folkes to his feet, staring daggers at Craig Young. Slow to his feet there in the Canterbury side is Moffat. Dave Moffat, number 11. Gearan, caught.
Getting back to that Graham Hughes injury, Rex, there is a cut below the eye, but it's not the cut that's worrying them. It could be a bone injury, a cheekbone injury.
Canterbury coming away with their first bit of football. Mark Hughes gets through 1 tackle. He's got Gearan on the outside. The pass is atrocious. It's going to be pulled up. It was awful. Dear. I wouldn't believe this was the side that won the premiership and played such magnificent football. They can't put their act together. Let's have a look at some Dowling scrum statistics. 24 from 45 in the 81 pre-season. Success rate just over 50%. And he's just over 50% in the 1980. Brian Johnson throws the dummy, lobs it back inside, put the glasses down, Saradini. Great way to start the second half for St. George. A clever, intelligent bit of play by Brian Johnson. And he's roundly applauded by his teammates. Really stood the opposition up. And Saradini canted over. Not a Canterbury player within 20 metres of him. Let's see it again. It was a beautiful pass out to Johnson. The pass inside to Saradini. And really the head-on shot may show just how far the defence was away. There was literally nobody. Folks' tackle was effective on Trudgett. That's the position. Look at that. Sucked both the Canterbury players out to the wing. Saradini's clever positional play got him an unimpeded try. Third attempted goal by Philip Graham. Kicked the previous two. Meticulous kicker. Graham attempting the conversion of the Saradini try. And he's done beautifully. Very meticulous. 3 from 3. Harry Bath will be very contented with that effort. 15-2, St. George cantering away at Belmore.
1977, I think we've got to go back to before Canterbury have beaten St. George in this ground.
Yes, well, I think it was 1912 the score at Belmore last year, and then curiously Canterbury won at Cogra 15-7. Well, now what can Ted Glossop pull out of his magic bag of tricks to get this side firing? Johnson.
Talking earlier in the game, Rex, about Tony Trudgett and his knee. Well, he seems to be getting through the game quite well. In fact, he set that try up. It was his pass to put Johnson away down the sideline.
Beautifully to Trudgett. Now you were talking about 10 metres from halfway. Cutting great holes now in this Canterbury defence. Brian Johnson. 8 metres from halfway. Craig Young. Buckley. Steve Morris electing to run. But it's beautifully to Dowling, the hooker. There's a top tackle too by Folks right round his boots. Craig Young. Back inside to Wynn. Wynn's got himself into the clear. He's got round two. Look at him go. Into the corner. Running hard. Just taken. But the pass back inside has been knocked on. Now Canterbury come up with possession. That's the try that should have been. Wynn did everything right except the pass as he was tackled. And Canterbury now with an injured player. It's, I think, Chris Mortimer, who saved the day for them. And really, it's a bit of an eye-opener what's going on here at Belmore this afternoon. This Canterbury side cannot fire. Chris Mortimer's okay to his feet. Paponis will now crawl his way a few extra yards. He's just outside the 10-metre line. Coveney. Canterbury forwards have lacked total authority in this match. Pass. Moffat. Paponis back inside to Mark Hughes. He evades one tackle. Last tackle coming up. Steve Mortimer. Robinson. 9 feet to Anderson. Anderson's been pulled back. Another forward pass. Offside. Penalty goes to St. George. Greenwood. For touch on the Bankstown side. 7 minutes in the second half. The score 15-2. Scores from other grounds indicating there could be well and truly some upsets. We'll be giving you all the scores in this first round of football at the end of the big league. Try again. Trudgett. Given sideways. They're just on the quarter line. Trudgett getting up, claiming he had the ball knocked out of his hand, as is Craig Young. The referee says no, he dropped it. Telecast brought to you by Mazda and your local Mazda dealers. He is wrapped up hard by Tony Trudgett. Robinson. Steve Mortimer. Coveney. The partner's a dummy half. Casillas. Mark Hughes. Very heavy weather of the St. George defence, folks. Chris Mortimer, Bretnell, out to Chris Mortimer. There's Peter on the inside. They're up to halfway on the last tackle. And that sees the end of that section. Scrum win now. Trudgett trying to get that arm free to give a one-handed pass, but couldn't do so. Graham Quinn. There's little Morris again. On the halfway line. Lee. Jansen. Should get to his feet and fly it forward. He does. Had no marker then. Casillas. Jansen was holding on to Casillas there. Craig Young. Win. And through the defence again. Casillas tackles him, slight of stone. And the pass knocked down finally. Buckley has it. Again the pass knocked down. And who's come up with this one? Canterbury. St. George could have had several more tries. Coveney. 15 points to 2. Swung to the ground. Trudgett the defender. Anderson. Steve Mortimer. Starting to make those little bursts that Norris has been making for St. George. Now look at that Canterbury side. They're all in a bunch there. You can never write off Canterbury. They're capable of pulling out incredible tries, but not on the evidence of what they've shown us today. Penalty. There's Canterbury's way. Barry's got beside him Gary Hughes, who's the doyen of 5/8 with his Canterbury side. He's recovering from an appendectomy. Barry will get an inquiry on what his state of health is.
Well, Gary, first of all, how is your health at the moment? When will you be playing football again?
Well, I'd like to play in about 2 or 3 weeks' time, but I'll just have to be guided by what the doctors say.
And Gary, you've just taken a new position with the Canterbury Club, a full-time employee now.
Yeah, I assist Peter Moore in his role as secretary there, and I also will be the schools liaison officer.
So Gary Hughes, a couple of weeks and some abysmal handling from both sides at the moment. Stephen Folkes finally picks up the dregs after both sides had committed breaches. Mark Hughes, Steve Mortimer, the dummy. Now back to Mark Hughes. That's a top tackle by Young around his legs. Caponis, Folkes, Bretnell, well tackled by Graham Quinn. About 3 metres outside the quarter, not eastern suburbs. St. George leading by 15 points to 2. Steve Mortimer trying dummies. Back on the inside it comes to number 3 there, Peter Mortimer. Then to Anderson. Anderson ricochets off a defender, gives it to Casillas. Casillas' pass is knocked down. St. George will come up with it, and the referee will blow for a knock-on. Fans, the Canterbury side are showing little glimpses of getting their act together, but always the play breaks down. The scrum about 20 metres out now from the St. George line. Morris feeds. Buckley standing out of the scrum in the 5'8" spot. On Sports World next week on Channel 7, starting about 5 to 11, going for 2 hours. See a coverage of all the rugby league games played in this round of football with expert opinions by the Controversy Corner panel who will have seen the games. And don't forget our replay on Sunday mornings. There's little Morris through, he gets the bounce. Oh, and he's lost the ball. Now he's opposite number, Steve Mortimer has it. And head first into Graham Wynn and threw a right-handed Graham Wynn, I think. Talk about a David and Goliath contest, that one. Moffat. He's busted the first line. Still going. Up to the quarter line. St. George suddenly opening up a little bit. Mark Hughes. Pass to Robinson. He loses the ball. Dowling falls on it. Plenty of changing of possession. The error count is going to be enormously high. Robinson, 10 metres out from the St. George quarter. Graham. Beautiful pass to Saradimi. Bretnell, he might have it on. Bretnell for pace. Bretnell gets to him and gets him into touch about 2 metres from the line. Very close go. And Anderson applauds Bretnell for a fine tackle. And I'm disappointed for Saradimi because he did everything well there. But let's see that fine covering tackle coming across from the fullback again. As Bretnell comes across, there he is. Now watch the action. Well, they've got him into touch on the corner. But from that scrum, Canterbury have come up with possession. Anderson running crossfield. Opening the angle up a bit, so he's got a blind and an open to work with. Yes. Moffat, that pass was yards forward, surely. Offside pass. Yes, well, what can the referee do when it's done in front of his eyes? Now, here's the end-on shot of that Saradimi run. And the tackle from Brennan. Now watch the sideline. It was covered up by the spectators. Yes, there's little doubt he got him into touch. That's fine stuff. Lord Graham, 10 goals from 17 attempts in the 81 pre-season. Success rate 58.8. He had 3 tries from 12 matches in 1980. This is his 4th attempted goal. Been successful with the previous 3. 3 metres short of the halfway, 20 metres in from the sideline. Kicking into a slight breeze. Well, bless my soul, that's a hole. Squirted way up to the left. 15-2. Well, time running fresh out for this Canterbury side. We've had 16 minutes of play. And the 100 Pipers will be playing at Redfern Oval because I see the Souths have got themselves into a 7-all situation with North Sydney having been down 7-0. Johnson. And an offside pass there. It's been an absolute plethora of offside passes in this match. More than I've seen in 4 or 5 games. Ted Glossop trying, one would think, to rationalise in his mind what's gone wrong today. Very thoughtful coach. And 22 minutes to go. Can Canterbury get themselves into some sort of contest? They've got to retain possession of the ball for periods of time. They've got to get it and keep it for the 6 and use it instead of giving it back all the time. Stokes crawls along the ground for a few yards. Panis out to Casillas. He's about 11 metres out now in the St. George line. Steve Mortimer. Oh, long floating pass out. It comes to Chris Mortimer. Still got his pass away to Folks. Now the last tackle coming up. Steve Mortimer. The kick high. Sorodimi takes it beautifully. Facing away from it. 3 tries to 0 and 3 goals to 1. That's the St. George 15 Canterbury story at Belmore Oval. Bradnell. 8 metres from St. George quarter. Midfield. The Panis as the train goes past. Cock-a-doodle-ooing. Casillas. On the blind side goes Moffat. Got to be more constructive than that. They've got to take the odds to keeping this ball alive. Run around. Mark Hughes. Good defence. Folks. Coveney leaves it behind. St. George come up with the dregs through Robert Stone. Young. Dowling to Morris. Elected to run at the wrong time then, and Coveney nailed him high. Moffat low. Stone. There's the horrifying story. Both sides have been committing a huge number of errors as Morris. Mossop will never run that fast in his life. Canterbury now moving the ball with a little bit more authority, backing each other up a little better in the last 2 or 3 minutes. But one gets the impression it's a lost cause in this match. Greatest turn-up since Belmore beat South Sydney. If they get out of jail on this one. There's a great big opening out on the blind side there as the pass goes out wide. It's gone out there to Chris Mortimer. He's got support. Gearin on the inside, beaten 1, 2. Tackled on the 10-metre line, and last tackle coming up. St. George players slow to get back on side. Pass look forward too. If it touched the St. George player, the referee could start it again and touched him on the foot accidentally. Scrum went to Canterbury. We're going to need all the ball to get into this game. St. George playing far too well and defending quite soundly at the moment. Mortimer hacked to the ground by Trudgett. Moffat. This was a low one. Coveney has it. Wants to straighten the attacker. The opponent's at dummy half. There's an opening out there if they can move it wide. Robinson is still running. Ricochets off one defender, gets it to Mark Hughes. Hughes going straight and hard. It's about 3 metres away. Plenty of defence there. Casillas, Steve Mortimer. Now to Coveney. One thinks he got a bit of a clap in the jaw then. Last tackle. Panis, Mortimer, the kick again. Pressure. Through they come. Who's got it? Johnson took it magnificently. Stone doing a lot of directing traffic up there today. Just waved one of the Canterbury players away and said, get back over there. A great catch by Johnson, worth another look. There it is. Yes, magnificently taken. Britnell. Time ticking away. 14 minutes to go. Paponis. Mark Hughes telegraphed his pass back inside to Casillas. Casillas obligingly gives it back. Now Morris throws the dummy through one tackle. Beautiful pass to Sarademi, and he drops the ball. I swear somebody's put slippery stuff on the ball. Never seen so many good footballers handle so badly. 15-2, St. George lead. Here it comes. Oh, he's offside, surely. Budget. Stokes takes the quick tap, goes. Mark Hughes there. Peter Mortimer, older brother Chris. That pass was an atrocious one-handed, ill-directed effort, which was forward anyway. And all on the first tackle. Harry Bath has been through all this before, countless times. He's announced his retirement at the end of this year. And the scrum went to St. George. Both sets of backs very flat. The Graham Quinn, who's had a quiet game, got his pass away all right, no problem. Jansen, Trudgett, Stone. Belted to the ground, 10 metres his own side of halfway. Robert Stone looking for support, finds Wynn, who had a couple of very long, strong runs in the first half. He's getting a little bit of treatment there from one of the opposition. There's a bad pass that's gone astray. The referee says no, knock on, play on. Oh dear, that looked a forward pass too. They're overrunning the ball. Morris. Up goes the kick. Pressure for Bretnell. Get to it at all. Knock on both ways. Yes, my statistician Trevor informs me that the error count in total is 35 at this point. How's that broken down? 19 to Canterbury, 16 to St. George. Scrum went to St. George. Trudgett held the pass up, got it away to Sarademi, who dropped it obligingly, but it was an offside pass again. They're all standing too flat and overrunning the man with the ball, both sides. Barry, have you seen two top sides make so many repetitive errors as these two are doing in recent times?
No, I certainly haven't. I was only just talking to Gary Hughes about that, and he suggested maybe they're trying too hard.
There's a kick that takes play well outside the danger area for Canterbury. About 12 minutes remaining. Canterbury side will need to be Houdinis to get out of this one. 15-2, a trail. Robinson still very much the tearaway. Bonus. Mark Hughes. Casillas. Steve Mortimer. Folks. Got a good pass inside to Moffat. He's tackled around about the quarter line midfield. Mark Hughes. Steve Mortimer. Pops a pass to Casillas, who's wrapped up hard by Robert Stone. Nice pass back on the inside. Now Casillas has it. Bretnell, they're standing too flat again. The pass magically taken by Robinson off his boot tops. He's gone nearly right through. Finally swung to the ground by, I think, Graham Wynn, and it needed a big, strong man to backslam him as hard as that too. No easy boy to handle, that Jeff Robinson. Statistics of the match thus far. The scrums have gone 10-9 to St. George. The penalties have gone 11-6 to Canterbury. There's one to St. George. Feed across against George Paponis. Stone taking the ball up. That tap restart. Sun shining brightly here at Belmore now. The players won't be madly enthusiastic about that. It's still pretty hot for football. Sections of the crowd giving up on the result. Craig Young. Graham Wynn. What incredible pace the big fella's got. Oh, right through. Rental's pass. So he'll score underneath the post. And Graham Wynn really top performance. He's had a quiet second half as opposed to a very active first half. But the big fella's come good. And Sorodemi too has positioned himself so well for his 2 tries. See that again. Dowling's good dummy half work. Craig Young, the pass to Wynn. Some pretty poor defence, it must be said. Now, Brentnell's tackle was ordinary. And Sorodemi doing everything he could. And from head on this way. Graham Wynn. Incredible pace for a big man. It's a terrible attempted tackle. Now, Sorodemi just a clear run again. He scored them so well. Every inch the racehorse, doesn't he? Now we'll see the conversion attempt by Graham, who's only missed with 1 goal so far. Directly in front, 10 metres out. No doubt about that one. Well, that seals the win if ever there was any doubt about it. There's no way that Canterbury could get out of this with 9.5 minutes to go. 20 points to 2 in a most overwhelming performance by St. George. Well, now it remains for Canterbury to salvage a little bit of pride out of this. They've got to attempt to come up with some sort of an effort in the dying moments to at least get a try on the ball.
George Paponis coming off and Pat English going on for Canterbury.
Project finding great yawning gaps there to run now. The big St. George forwards have really called the tune. Stone. There's Wynn again. There's Morris. Beautiful running. Tries to come back inside. Does so. Elects to run again. Looking for support. Craig Young not real happy with Morris on that occasion. Had a bit to say to him. It's Canterbury get back onside again. Buckley. Buckley through into Trudgeon. Oh, a top tackle there by number 3, Peter Mortimer, puts him down only 8 metres away. Canterbury on the rack. Should be a try here. The Wynn gets his pass away nicely out there to Brian Johnston with a T. And the avalanche continues as St. George steamroller this premiers for 1980. Canterbury well and surely beat. And see that again, the embarrassing, the most embarrassing try of the lot. They took that play about 70 metres in a couple of play the balls, and it was pretty timid stuff by Canterbury. Well, the floodgates have well and surely opened. 2 tries in 3 minutes is pretty concrete evidence that one side has folded totally. Graham with his 6th attempted goal. He's been successful with 4. Squirted it away to the left. The scoreline remains as it was. St George 23, Canterbury 2. Another scrum win to St George. Buckley swivels and gets through some pretty abject Canterbury defence there. Morris, Trudgett. Switching the play, Craig Young unloads to Robert Stone, who probably won't be all that keen about having a run out in the wing there. Ryan Johnson.
That's his third away, straight up later.
Minute and a half to go by our clock, unofficial time. Craig Young. Taken well by Graham Quinn. Trudgett. Big Graham win on the outside of him, but couldn't unload there. Morris, Graham Quinn, the dummy. Out to Graham. Long floating pass back inside to Buckley. Buckley gets a bad pass away, and St George on the sixth tackle have to just fall on it. Budget. Win, a little kick through. Picked it up beautifully, got it support there. Away to Graham, then on to Morris, and that's a try. Well, there you go. They've really torn the heart out of this Canterbury side, right underneath the post. And the tries have been scored with such ease. There's no cover coming across, there's little. 26 embarrassing points to 2. See it again. Little kick through, the cleverness of this tall man reaching down and picking it up on the run. The unloading of the pass was perfect. And, of course, Graham did everything right there, too, to unload to Morris, who goes in for a very fine try. That's 6 tries to 0 from head on. Morris again, you'll have heard, probably got sick of me saying, and nobody near him. That's the story with nearly all the tries today. It's successful with 4. Now it's successful with 5 out of 7. There's the hooter mercifully in the background with a scoreline that reads as a most embarrassing situation. The last year's premiers, first up in 81, they've gone down by 28 points to 2. The award winner in today's Canterbury St George game was Graham Wynn. I don't think anyone that saw the game would doubt his credentials. There were 6 tries scored. He was involved in 5 and scored 1. Let's go through the results of some of these other rounds, other games in the round. Belmore 12, Eastern Suburbs 11 yesterday. We'll recollect that Ron Gitto was sent from the field, and of course that was the turning point of the game because Eastern Suburbs were leading at that point. Now in today's games, Penrith 23 have come up with a win that a few of us expected. Cronulla 12, that's at Penrith Park, 23 to 12. Must be considered a major upset. South Sydney 7. I'm happy to say I tipped North Sydney to beat them, but 22 to 7. I didn't expect anything like that at Redfern Oval, showing the importance again of that midweek game because South Sydney were one of the teams involved. Western Suburbs 12 went down to Manly 24. John Donnelly, the big prop forward who was captain in the pre-season for Western Suburbs, was sent from the field, I believe, about 7 minutes from half-time. I think there may be a charge in the area of knees. I'm not sure of that, so that's only hearsay. Parramatta 33, Newtown 9. That's a return to form for the Parramatta side. And the game we televised, of course, 28 points, St George, Canterbury 2. On the 7 Network News tomorrow night, I'll be announcing which game will be televised.
Sydney's brilliant rugby union team take on the greatest players from right around the world, from England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, South America, France, Fiji and New Zealand, Australia too. So that's next Saturday evening at 9:30, Sydney versus the world from the Sydney Cricket Ground right here on Channel 7. And remember, tomorrow evening from 8:30 comes the unmatched excitement of Frederick Forsyth's Day of the Jackal, a brilliant movie. That's tomorrow evening at 8:30. And if you've been fascinated by the re-emergence of the Bogle-Chandler mystery, Mike Willesee has a staggering story to tell at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. But right now, stay with us for Daily at Dawn.